Welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to continue with our scenario analysis with ProGERN. In the previous video, we have learned about GoSeek or practice about GoSeek in Excel. GoSeek allows us to change one variable to achieve a target result of one number. What if you want to see a range of possible answers that you can make choices from? Here we are going to look into the Excel techniques of one input data table. Part 2E in the instruction material page 5 give us a schematic of what a one input data table look like. Basically, we have to build use a space of 2 columns and anchor the formula of the result that we would like to find out, and then enter a range of changing assumption on the left side and one cell below the formula, and leaving this space blank. And when we are done with the command of one input data table, we should be able to check all the results under the formula columns. So this is what the one input data table look like. And here we are going to use the spreadsheet to find out the average net income when we change our promotion percentage anywhere from 10% to 20%. And here are the steps that we will be following in our work. So when you are ready, let's get started with the Excel worksheet. Looking into our Excel worksheet for ProGERN, we are going to duplicate part 1 into part 2E. In part 2E, we are focusing on the promotion percentage as before. But this time we would like to see the range of results when the promotion percentage is changing from anywhere from 10% to 20%. So remember that we need to have 2 columns of space to create a table. So conveniently, we can take any space below the table so that you can see everything all in one place. Alternatively, you can do it on this part or even on a different page. So for us to see everything all in one place, we are going to find a space somewhere below the income statements. So the first thing you have to do for a data table is to anchor the formula. So I will take some space here to anchor formula. What do we mean by anchoring the formula? Anchoring formula would be to start the formula, input the formula with an equal sign. So we know that our expected results of the data table is the average net income. So I would anchor my formula in this cell to start my data table. Notice that it has to be a formula. If you copy and paste your number here, it won't work. If you type it in, it would not work. It has to be a formula that you anchor. Okay, so on the left hand side and one cell below, we start to build our range of promotion. Remember that we have to range it from 10% to 20%. So we let's make it easier. We just use an increment of 1% different. So 10% jump to 11% to 12% instead of maybe 10%, 10.5, 11, or 10.25%. So this would be possible, but for learning purposes, we would just use the simplest form, 10%, 11%. The next one would be 12%, so on and so forth. But at this point, I would like to introduce you, if you do not know it ahead of time, the function, the nice techniques of Excel, which will help us to auto-fill a long series of numbers. So this is not a long series number, but the concept is the same, and we can use this as an example to learn to apply the technique of autofill. Once we start the first 2 numbers with the increment of 1% difference, we can highlight these two numbers, and using the solid cross on the lower right hand corner of the highlight, we can drag to see that the number is changing next to our solid cross. 18%, 19%, 20%. This is where we would like to stop. So I release my button, and Excel automatically fill out the changing scenario for us. So I highlight this to show that this is a changing scenario. So I highlight this as changing scenario. Okay. So just to make sure that we do not mix it up, we need to label what is the changing scenario. Our changing scenario is promotion percentage. So we would not make mistakes that this would not be commissions, would not be cost of goods sold, and this is average net income. So we even take the step to label it so that we would not make mistakes in what we are trying to get in the results. So now once we set up the table, the first step to do is to highlight the whole range of the changing scenario and the anchored formula. So these two columns of numbers. And after we highlight it, we would use the data what if analysis again. This time we will select data table. And once we select the data table, there will be the simplest dialog box for us to handle. And in this dialog box, there are two entries, row input cell and column input cell. Both cells refer to the shape of the changing scenario. When we look at our changing scenario, the shape is in column. We arrange the promotion percentage, the changing scenario into a column. So therefore, we are going to select not the row, but column input. So for our column input, we know that this is a promotion percentage because we have labeled it. We would not mix it up. So we can go into the assumption area and highlight the promotion percentage, which is D20. And we click OK. Immediately, you get the results of this changing scenario right underneath the formula. We understand that these are dollar value, and we can take away the decimal places. So this is the dollar value range when the changing scenario of promotion. So at about 11%, the average net income is closest to 8,000, and beyond lower than 11%, it will far exceed 8,000. And when it's original plan of 15%, the average net income is 5,770. So the purpose of this changing scenario is to give you, the manager, a choice, a convenient choice. So if you are making a negotiation with the advertising agencies, it would be helpful to bring this chart or put this chart on your computer or bring the table along. And when you negotiate, you will understand that if the advertising agencies or advertising contractor is asking you for 13%, you understand that you would not reach your goal, and you will negotiate lower towards your goal. So this is a great tool for convenient reference, which is the one variable data table. So in conclusion, this one input data table will allow you to change one variable to see a range of target answers. I hope you enjoyed this new tool. Please feel free to replay the video, and when you replenish yourself, nourish yourself, you can move on to the next video.